Ever since that historic Olympic gold medal, Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara have been living a very different kind of life. The pressure that once followed them every day has finally faded, replaced by a sense of peace, warmth, and quiet happiness. The tension they carried onto the ice at every major competition has given way to slower moments and well-earned freedom. In many ways, this calm chapter feels like the greatest reward for years of sacrifice, dedication, and relentless hard work. But the reason they can enjoy this peaceful present is because of what happened on one unforgettable day. And that is exactly why today we are going back to relive the moment when Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara climbed to the very top of the figure skating world. Under the skis of Milano Cortina, a moment unfolded that captivated fans across the globe. It was the day the beloved Japanese pair known as Rikuryu delivered one of the greatest comeback performances in Olympic figure skating history and captured a gold medal that seemed almost impossible only 24 hours earlier. In this video, we will explore not only their incredible performance, but also the reaction from international media outlets that watched in amazement as this dramatic story unfolded before their eyes. The year was 2026, and the stage was set for the Olympic pair free skate. Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara entered the event as one of the world's elite teams, but their journey had taken an unexpected turn the day before. A costly mistake in the short program left them nearly 7 points behind the leaders. In Olympic competition, a gap of that size often feels insurmountable. Many believed their dream of gold had slipped away. But inside the hearts of Miura and Kihara, surrender was never an option. When the powerful music from Gladiator echoed through the arena, the atmosphere instantly changed. The two skaters stepped onto the ice carrying not fear, but determination. From the opening moments, they began creating something extraordinary. Their triple twist lift soared into the air with breathtaking height and precision. Every movement flowed seamlessly into the next. Their difficult jump sequence, featuring a triple toe loop, double axel, and another double axel, was executed with remarkable confidence and control. There was no hesitation, no visible weakness, and no sign of the pressure that surrounded them. Lift after lift earned the highest level 4 evaluations. Their throw jumps looked effortless, as if they were moving in complete harmony with the ice itself. Every edge, every transition, and every expression told the story of two athletes determined to leave everything they had on the Olympic stage. Then came the moment everyone was waiting for. The scores appeared on the screen: 158.13 points for the free skate, 231.2 points overall. It was a stunning total that rewrote expectations and delivered one of the greatest performances ever seen in Olympic pair skating. As the numbers appeared, emotions poured out. Kihara could no longer hold back the tears. Years of sacrifice, injuries, setbacks, and perseverance came rushing to the surface. Miura's eyes filled with emotion as well as she embraced her partner. Together they stood on the ice knowing they had produced the performance of a lifetime. Yet the competition was not over. For nearly 40 minutes they waited as the remaining teams completed their programs. The tension inside the arena was almost unbearable. Then something happened that caught the attention of fans around the world. Instead of sitting in the chairs prepared for the athletes, Miura and Kihara moved to the side and knelt on the ground while waiting for the final scores. That simple gesture became one of the defining images of the Olympic Games. Around the world, fans were fascinated by the sight. Rather than waiting in dramatic fashion or celebrating prematurely, the Japanese pair quietly knelt and watched. Many viewers described it as a beautiful reflection of humility, respect, and traditional Japanese values. Social media quickly filled with comments. "Why are they kneeling like that? This is the most Japanese Olympic moment I have ever seen. Their posture says everything about who they are." Many admitted they were moved to tears, while others said the scene made them smile through their emotions. It was a small moment, yet it revealed the character of two athletes who had earned the admiration of fans far beyond the sport itself. When the final results confirmed their gold medal, Miura still resisted the urge to celebrate immediately. Standing nearby was the German team of Minerva Hayes and Nikita Volodin, who had narrowly missed the top spot. Rather than exploding with emotion, Miura showed remarkable consideration for her rivals. Fans immediately noticed her restraint and praised her sportsmanship. Comments flooded online praising her kindness. She thought about her competitors before herself. That level of respect is incredibly rare. This is why people love Riku. Even in the most emotional moment of her career, she never forgot the feelings of the athletes standing beside her. Then came another unforgettable scene. The first people to rush toward Miura and Kihara were not members of Team Japan. It was Hayes and Volodin. Despite their own disappointment, the German pair immediately ran over to congratulate the new Olympic champions. There was no bitterness, no frustration, and no hesitation. They embraced Miura and Kihara with genuine happiness and respect. Hayes repeatedly bowed toward Miura in a gesture that fans found both heartfelt and touching. The moment perfectly captured the spirit of sportsmanship at the highest level. Fans around the world praised the German pair as much as they praised the champions themselves. What incredible class! True competitors know how to celebrate greatness. This is what sports should look like. The images of the two teams embracing became one of the most memorable scenes of the Games. Watching nearby was coach Bruno Marcotte, whose eyes were filled with tears. Years later, he would still speak about that performance with deep emotion. "I knew they were capable of delivering a great free skate," he explained, "but what mattered most was what they created together on the ice. They skated with complete trust and connection. Their bond reached every person in that arena. It truly felt like magic." Marcotte later revealed what he told his athletes after the disappointing short program. "The first thing I said was that nothing was over," he recalled. "I truly believed a comeback was possible." To inspire them, he shared stories of legendary Olympic comebacks from the past. Then he delivered a message directly to Kihara, who was struggling emotionally after the short program. "Your mission tomorrow is simple," Marcotte told him. "Go out there and prove that you are the best team in the world." Those words became the foundation for one of the greatest performances of their careers. Marcotte also spoke highly of Miura's mindset. "She was incredibly strong throughout the entire day," he said. "Her confidence never wavered." While Kihara appeared tense during official practice sessions, something changed before the free skate began. After a brief period of rest and reflection, the version of Kihara that Marcotte knew so well returned. "I saw the real Ryuichi again," the coach remembered. The skater capable of extraordinary things. For Marcotte, the gold medal represented more than Olympic success. It symbolized years of commitment from countless people who believed Japan could become a world power in pair skating. "I am proud to have been part of this story," he said, "and I am grateful to everyone at the Japan Skating Federation who believed in this dream and supported these athletes every step of the way." As the celebration continued, international media outlets rushed to describe what they had witnessed. The Guardian in the United Kingdom called the performance a dramatic masterpiece. Their report painted a vivid picture of the emotional scene after the scores were announced. They described two athletes kneeling on the ice through tears, staring at one another in disbelief, as if trying to confirm that the impossible had actually happened. The newspaper noted that nearly 30 seconds passed before smiles finally appeared on their faces. When Kihara lifted Miura into the air, it was not simply a celebration. It was the release of years of pressure, sacrifice, and perseverance. The article also highlighted the enormous challenge they had faced after finishing fifth in the short program. Many teams would have crumbled under that pressure. Instead, Miura and Kihara returned to the ice and produced a performance defined by courage, ambition, and breathtaking technical excellence. Across the Atlantic, NBC described the event as one of the most dramatic Olympic comebacks in recent memory. Their coverage praised the pair's power, artistry, and remarkable unity. Skating to gladiator, they seemed to move as a single entity, completely synchronized in body and spirit. The result was a season-best performance and a score of 231.2 points that secured a place in Olympic history. NBC commentators could barely contain their excitement during the broadcast. Former Olympic champion Tara Lipinski praised the performance as the blueprint for winning a gold medal. "If you want to know what an Olympic gold medal performance looks like," she said, "this is it." She described the speed, power, and confidence of their skating as overwhelming and admitted that the performance gave her chills. From a technical standpoint, she called it nearly flawless. Every element was executed with precision, yet the performance never lost its emotional depth or artistic beauty. The International Skating Union quickly joined the celebration, posting that the moment was truly Rikuryu's showtime. Meanwhile, Golden Skate summed up the performance in a simple but powerful statement: What a skate from Miura and Kihara. Veteran American journalist Jackie Wang also recognized the significance of the moment immediately. Looking at the score, he noted that only one team still had a mathematical chance to surpass them. Then he offered an even bigger observation. "This felt historic," he wrote. "It reminded me of some of the greatest comeback performances the sport has ever seen." The New York Times echoed similar sentiments, emphasizing how remarkable it was for Miura and Kihara to rise from 5th place after the short program and seize Olympic glory through a performance that demanded perfection. And somehow, perfection is exactly what they delivered. They shattered the dream of China's Sui Wenjing and Han Kong chasing another Olympic title. And in doing so, Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara opened an entirely new chapter for Japanese figure skating. Even now, the emotion of that night still feels almost unreal. It was not just a victory, it was the kind of performance that changes how people see an entire discipline. For Japan, this was more than a gold medal. It was proof that pair skating in Japan had reached a new level, and that the next generation of athletes could look at Miura and Kihara and believe that the impossible was no longer impossible. One of the most fascinating reactions came from the Washington Post. What made their analysis so remarkable was that even before the final results were decided, they had already seen the possibility of a dramatic comeback. They understood that the gap after the short program was not simply a wall, it was a number, and numbers can be challenged when a team has the right program, the right technique, and the right emotional force. Their free skate to Gladiator had everything required for a comeback. It was powerful, dramatic, and built around the unique strengths of Miura and Kihara. Their lifts covered the ice with incredible speed. Their throws had both distance and control. Their connection made the program feel larger than sport itself. If they skated cleanly, and if the teams ahead of them made even the smallest mistake, the door to gold would open. And that is exactly what happened. The Washington Post had recognized something important. Miura and Kihara were not simply hopping for a miracle. They had built a program capable of creating one. Canadian journalist Beverly Smith also captured the emotion of the moment beautifully. She wrote that she was moved to tears watching Japan's Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara, and that their coach Bruno Marcotte was also overcome with emotion. For her, this was the true spirit of the Olympics. Not just medals, not just scores, but human beings pushing beyond pain, pressure, and doubt to create something unforgettable. Canadian broadcaster Devin Heroux also shared a deeply emotional reaction. He reminded fans that after the short program, the Japanese pair had looked devastated. There had been tears, there had been heartbreak, but they never allowed the flame of hope to disappear. One night later, the tears returned, but this time they were not tears of pain, they were tears of triumph. They had delivered the free skate of their lives and become Olympic champions. Even reporters who had watched the team event earlier in the Games were still stunned by the level of Miura and Kihara's skating. The athletics reporter wrote that he was still thunderstruck by their performance. He could barely believe what he had seen. Inside Skating, the respected figure skating outlet from Romania, had already praised them during the team event, calling their skating a true shock of quality and power. The message was clear. Miura and Kihara were not suddenly great in the final event. Experts had already seen that they were entering the peak of their careers. Former American skater and analyst also praised the Japanese pair, saying that although the American team had skated very well, Miura and Kihara had reached an entirely different level. Their season-best performance was not just better, it was dominant. They created a gap so large that everyone watching understood they were seeing something special. Even during practice, overseas reporters noticed something different. One journalist wrote that he had just watched their practice session and believed it was the sharpest, cleanest, and most refined skating he had ever seen from them. Then he joked that his jaw had dropped so far he did not know where it had gone. That was the effect Miura and Kihara had on people. They did not simply win, they made experts question what they had just witnessed. In Japan, the reaction was just as emotional. Across social media, current skaters and former champions sent messages of celebration and gratitude. Yuma Kageyama, a two-time Olympic silver medalist in men's singles, posted a simple but powerful message. Rikuryu are the best. Nobunari Oda could not hide his excitement either. He congratulated them on their gold medal and praised them for delivering a world record-level free skate on the biggest stage in the world. Shun Sato also shared heartfelt congratulations, saying the performance was truly incredible. But one of the most emotional messages came from Narumi Takahashi, who once skated pairs with Ryuichi Kihara and competed with him at the 2014 Olympic Games. Her message was simple, but it carried years of history. Thank you so much. Fans immediately responded with warmth, reminding Takahashi that her own achievements had helped build the road that made this moment possible. Many wrote that without pioneers like her, Japanese pair skating would never have reached this historic day. Megan Duhamel, the former Canadian pair skater who helped support Miura and Kihara, also celebrated with overwhelming emotion. She described how grateful she felt to have been part of such a special journey. For her, watching them reach the Olympic summit was not just inspiring, it was a life-changing experience. On Japanese television, the commentary booth was filled with emotion as well. Former figure skater Akiko Suzuki struggled to find words after the performance. Over and over, she repeated how incredible it was. When the gold medal became official, her voice broke. The emotion was too much to contain. She said that she felt grateful to have ever encountered pair skating, and that there were no Japanese words strong enough to express the happiness she felt in that moment. Her tears reached viewers across the country because she was not simply describing a result. She was speaking for everyone who understood how long and difficult the road had been. But how did Miura and Kihara rise from the pain of the short program to create such a legendary comeback? After the short program, Kihara admitted that his mental state was at its lowest point. The mistake replayed in his mind again and again. That night he barely slept. Even though he spent hours in bed, his mind would not rest. By the time he returned to the rink, his body felt heavy and his emotions were unstable. During warm-up, tears began falling for no clear reason. He could not fully explain what he was feeling. It was a storm of frustration, exhaustion, fear, and pressure. And the person who pulled him back was Riku Miura. She told him that nothing was over. She reminded him that everything they had built together would not betray them now. She told him they could still do it. Then she gave him the words that changed everything. "Today, I will skate for you." When Kihara heard that, something inside him settled. His confusion began to disappear. His purpose became clear. He answered with the same feeling. "Then I will skate for Riku." From that moment, the free skate was no longer only about medals. It was about two people carrying each other through the hardest moment of their competitive lives. Before the free skate, Kihara did something unusual. He took a nap, something he normally would not do before competition. He later explained that his sleep the night before had been terrible. He had been in bed for 8 hours, but his mind had stayed awake. When he arrived at the rink, his body felt like it was rejecting the pressure. Without rest, he knew he would not have the mental space to perform. He also allowed himself something he had avoided for a long time. He drank cola. For most people that may sound small, but for Kihara it became a symbol. It was a tiny act of release, a moment where he allowed himself to reset, breathe, and become human again before stepping into the most important skate of his life. In pair skating, people often notice the male skater leading and lifting. But on this night, Miura became Kihara's emotional anchor. She protected him, she steadied him, and together, they turned weakness into strength. There was also another question surrounding their short program mistake. Some fans wondered whether the team event had drained them physically and mentally. That debate became even louder after watching other athletes struggle with the same issue. One major example was Ilya Malenin of the United States, known around the world as the Quad God. He carried huge expectations and competed strongly in the team event, skating both programs and helping the United States chase team gold. But in the individual event, he suffered a shocking collapse in the free skate and finished far below expectations. His free skate score was far below his personal best, and the image of his father and coach holding his head in disbelief became a major talking point online. Japan's men's singles team had managed the situation differently. Yuma Kajiyama and Shun Sato split responsibilities between the short program and free skate, helping preserve energy for the individual event. But in pair skating, there is no easy way to divide that burden. Miura and Kihara had to carry the load together. They had already spent enormous energy in the team event before entering the individual competition. Their bodies were tired, their minds were under pressure, and yet they still had to perform. History has shown how dangerous that burden can be. At the 2014 Sochi Olympics, Evgeny Plushenko helped Russia win team gold by skating in both segments, but the physical cost was enormous. Before the individual competition, his body could no longer continue, and he was forced to withdraw. That is the harsh reality of Olympic figure skating. The team event can bring glory, but it can also take something away before the individual event begins. This is why Miura and Kihara's gold medal carries even greater weight. They did not win under perfect conditions. They won after exhaustion, heartbreak, pressure, and doubt. They faced every possible obstacle and still produced the performance of their lives. For Japanese figure skating, the achievement was historic. Japan earned team silver. Japanese men stood on the podium. And then Miura and Kihara delivered the first Olympic pair gold medal in Japanese history. The Guardian called it a dramatic comeback. NBC described it as one of the most emotional reversals of the Games. Tara Lipinski praised it as the perfect example of what a gold medal performance should look like. She said the program gave her chills, and that reaction perfectly captured what millions of fans felt while watching. The Washington Post's analysis also proved important because it showed that this comeback was not luck. It was built on the quality of the program, Kihara's strength, Miura's core control, their trust in the lifts, and the precision of their technique. When all those pieces connected, a 7-point gap was no longer impossible. Experts like Jackie Wang had already sensed their potential in practice. International journalists had already noticed the sharpness. Coaches had already believed. And when the Olympic stage demanded perfection, Miura and Kihara delivered exactly that. Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara gave the world more than a gold medal. They gave the world a story of trust, courage, partnership, and belief. They overcame the pain of the short program. They pushed through the fatigue of the team event. They carried the pressure of history. And in the free skate, they answered everything with the highest score of their lives. Their gold medal will not be remembered only as Japan's first Olympic pair skating title. It will be remembered as one of the most emotional comebacks in figure skating history. To Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara, congratulations, and thank you for giving the world a performance filled with courage, beauty, and heart. What did you feel when you watched their unforgettable free skate? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if this story moved you, please support the channel by liking the video and subscribing for more emotional sports stories. Because this channel is not only about scores, medals, or records. It is about the people behind those moments. The ones who believe in each other, carry each other, and keep fighting when the world thinks the dream is already over. That is where the real story lives.